Show me your hands now! Stand up
and walk towards us!
You're gonna go ahead and cry whenever any.
On June 15, 2023, a chilling scene unfolded in Clermont County, Ohio. The day began like any other, but soon panic struck when a frightened girl alerted passers-by that something terrible was happening. She said her stepfather was attacking her family. The police quickly arrived at the scene after receiving multiple 911 calls from witnesses. They found Chad Dorman, a 32-year-old father, who had killed his 3 young children. The details of this tragic event were shocking. Chad had planned this horrific act for months, and his motives still remain unclear. The victims, all under the age of 10, were found dead at their home on Laura Lindell Road. On that afternoon, Chad Dorman came home from work early. He asked his wife to join him in the master bedroom for a nap with their 3 sons, Chase, Hunter, and Clayton. The boys were aged 3, 4, and 7. While his stepdaughter watched TV in the next room, Dorman suddenly took out a rifle. He shot 4-year-old Hunter twice in the head. The 12-year-old girl rushed in and saw her mother trying to protect Hunter. Dorman fought his wife and even bit her as she tried to save their son. In a desperate move, she grabbed the rifle but was shot in the hand, which forced her to drop Hunter into Dorman's line of fire. While the mother fought to save Hunter's life, the young girl told her remaining brothers to run as far as they could. She fled with them, hoping to reach safety. 7-year-old Clayton ran 300 feet into a nearby field, but was tragically shot from behind by his father, Chad Dorman. Dorman then turned his attention to his stepdaughter, who was carrying 3-year-old Chase. He caught up to her and demanded she put Chase down. Dorman tried to fire at them, but fortunately, his gun jammed. This malfunction allowed the stepdaughter to keep running, seeking help. Now separated Chase ran back to the house where he was caught by Dorman. Meanwhile, the stepdaughter managed to escape to the nearby fire department to seek help. Officers arrived at the scene at approximately 4 p.m. on June 15, 2023. They found the shooter, Chad Dorman, sitting calmly by the door. He was unresponsive to commands given by law enforcement. The officers then cautiously approached the home, ordering him to show his hands and stand up. His claim that nothing was going on contrasted sharply with his wife's desperate cries, which were captured in footage from the crime scene. EMS was called to respond immediately. That afternoon, a total of 9 shots were fired. 1 boy was shot once, and the other 2 were shot 4 times each. Strangely, Dorman made no attempt to murder his wife or stepdaughter, even though they had alerted the authorities. This inconsistency added to the confusion and horror surrounding the tragic events. Upon searching, the officers were confronted with a scene straight out of a horror movie. On the ground, a mother was screaming beside her children's bodies while their father watched, utterly emotionless. Chad Dorman's attitude was unnatural, and his lack of reaction disturbed the officers. He told the officers that he meant no harm and had not consumed any alcohol or drugs. Dorman assured them he was not insane and even warned them about his dog. He calmly asked if he could roll over, stating he wasn't going to hurt anyone. He told the officers he had nothing on him except a phone. When officers asked if he was the only one in the house, Chad Dorman responded that his stepdaughter had run to the fire department. He calmly told the officers to put his dog in its cage and requested them to get his wallet from his back pocket. His reaction remained disturbingly calm as he walked past the bodies of his children, showing no visible emotion. After spending 1 night in police custody, Dorman began to show signs of realizing the horror of his actions. But why would a father, even an abusive one, choose to execute all 3 of his own children? After spending 1 night in police custody, Chad Dorman began to show visible signs of distress. On June 16, 2023, as officers prepared him for his first court appearance, he refused to wear the provided jumpsuit and resisted their efforts to secure his handcuffs. This was his first encounter with the legal system and the media, making the situation even more overwhelming. Outside the courtroom, Dorman seemed to suddenly grasp the reality of his actions. He struggled with his emotions and appeared deeply troubled. The weight of the charges against him and the presence of both the media and prosecutors were starting to hit him hard. During this time, officers tried to calm him down, reminding him to take deep breaths and preparing him for the upcoming arraignment. The initial bravado he had shown earlier was gone. Instead, he appeared terrified and struggled to manage his panic as he tried to regain control of his emotions. An officer explained the procedure for the initial hearing, giving Dorman detailed instructions. He was warned about the media coverage and advised to focus solely on the judge during the court session. The officer told him that there would be a piece of black tape on the floor where he should stand. Dorman was instructed to face the judge and listen carefully without paying attention to the media or anyone else in the courtroom. The officer advised Dorman to exercise his right to remain silent and let his public defender handle all the talking. This advice was given to ensure that Dorman did not accidentally say something that could be used against him. As Dorman faced his initial court appearance, it was clear that he struggled to pay attention. He appeared disconnected from the proceedings, possibly experiencing a dissociative episode. Dissociation is a defense mechanism where a person emotionally detaches from their surroundings due to intense stress or trauma. This reaction is not uncommon among individuals in Dorman's situation and might explain his earlier lack of emotion at the crime scene. The prosecutor described his actions in detail, labeling them as unspeakable horror. The prosecutor emphasized the profound betrayal of trust, noting that the victims had relied on Dorman for protection, love, and guidance. They trusted him more than anyone else in their lives. This trust was shattered when Dorman, who was supposed to be their guardian, executed them in cold blood. It was later revealed that Chad Dorman's act of violence was not an accident, but a calculated execution. Chad Dorman had allegedly been planning to kill his sons for months, starting from October 2022. Reports also indicated that he had not slept for 3 to 4 days before the incident. This left detectives and reporters puzzled about his motive. Chad Dorman was visibly crying, which might suggest he felt remorse. However, he had previously seemed incapable of such emotions. Neighbors confirmed his violent character, describing him as someone with a bad temper who frequently yelled and was known to be cruel to his wife. They noted that he was often angry and shouted at his family. Chad Dorman's criminal history, including a charge of domestic violence in 2010, is noted during the proceedings on June 16, 2023. This charge was his only significant legal issue until now. The prosecutor highlighted that Dorman was not on probation or community control at the time of the killings, but Dorman's father, Keith, still defended his son's character, claiming that the man at the arraignment did not resemble the son he knew. Keith described Dorman as hollow inside and admitted he could not explain the murders, suggesting his son simply snapped. The case has garnered significant attention due to its horrific nature. The prosecutor requested an unprecedented bond of $20 million, stating that such a high amount was unusual and hopefully unnecessary in future cases. This high amount is meant to ensure that the defendant appears in court. In cases of violent crimes or where the defendant is a flight risk, judges often set a very high bail. This means the judge sees Dorman as a danger to society and someone who might try to escape. The prosecutor has stated that he views this as a death penalty case. This means he believes the crimes are so severe that the ultimate punishment is warranted. Dorman is accused of killing his own sons. The prosecutor's goal is to have Dorman executed. In total, Dorman faces 21 charges related to his actions on June 15, 2023. These include 9 counts of aggravated murder, 8 counts of kidnapping, and 4 counts of felonious assault. Aggravated murder is among the most serious crimes in the legal system, often resulting in life imprisonment or even the death penalty. This charge implies that the murders were committed with premeditation or during the commission of another serious crime, showing a high level of violence and intent. The 8 counts of kidnapping indicate that multiple individuals were forcibly taken or held against their will. Kidnapping is a serious crime, because it involves depriving someone of their freedom and often involves threats or actual harm. This charge alone can lead to significant prison time, especially when multiple counts are involved. The high bond ensures he remains in custody and appears at his trial, and that's all we have for today's episode. But now, if you want to see something even more disgusting, then you should check out this video next.